Hello students, today we will start the poem Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. Now I'll tell you the meaning of this poem. Fire and Ice is a short poem by Robert Frost. In this poem, the poet refers to two predictions of how the world will end. Some say it will end in fire, whereas others say it will end in ice. According to the poet, fire stands for desire, greed, avarice, or lust. The more you try to satisfy them, the more they grow. There is no end to it. They spread rapidly like fire and engulf your whole life. One becomes selfish and sometimes cruel also. On the other hand, ice, according to the poet, stands for hatred, coldness, and rigidity. One becomes insensitive and indifferent towards the feelings of others. The poet says that both fire and ice are growing with such a rapid speed that the world would soon perish, either way, in fire or in ice. Now see the first stanza. The opening two lines of the Fire and Ice establish two important aspects of the overall poem. Firstly, they make it clear that this poem is a work of ixtology, writing about the end of the world. Secondly, they establish the poem's conversational tone, which is deliberately a little at odds with the gravity of the subject matter. The first two lines also set up the poem's key antithesis, as the speaker considers whether fire or ice will bring about the end of the world. At this early stage in the poem, the symbolic meaning of these two elements is not yet apparent. Indeed, the speaker talks in very simple language, almost as if gossiping about someone or something when says, some say. The lines are balanced to establish on one side there is fire and on the other side ice, and both can bring about the end of the world. From third line onwards, the speaker directly links desire with fire. Accordingly, fire comes to stand for inflamed passion, greed, bloodlust, scenarios in which humanity brings about destruction by acting rashly and violently. And war, of course, would be a prime example, and so the poem is gently suggestive of the kind of wars that could bring about the end of the world. Now the line, second stanza, says, though the speaker sides with fire, ice, or hatred would be equally great. When the symbolic association between fire and desire is established, it becomes clear that the ice is symbolic to hatred, putting forward the proposition that ice is also great for bringing about the end of the world. In fact, humanity has probably enough capacity for destruction to end the world multiple times over. Therefore, whether it's by fire or ice, the world will end because of a collective failure of humanity, the inability of people to see themselves in others in service of an us versus them mentality. Here I have given you the explanation of the poem. You will all read the poem and try to understand the meaning of the poem and what poet has tried to convey. Thank you very much.